Over daily update TV. So, Afenyo Markins after say your man presenting budget na room or movie the motion for adjournment. Now, Afenyo say on the on your day on Tiasia, my majority for an episode. Now, no, now, okay, said those who second the motion and she say I minority for car I now minority for the service of mono. There is a munyina a fakit web and a car. No, Bebrenat with the individuals they have making it or a year majority case. Afenyo, say one say be a good leader. Say or your own people have a team up against you. And no making you 10. If saying it's very interesting for share media.
It will not apply to ex-assemblymen. Mr. Speaker, this clearly is a budget of a government and a party that keeps its promises. Almost every promise that was made by John Dramani Mahama is being fulfilled in less than 120 days. This budget is a budget for Makola women. This budget is a budget for assemblymen. This budget is a budget for girls. This budget, sanitary pads, students, girls, students, sanitary pads, there's sanitary pads. Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker, to Ghanaians. This is a budget that will stabilize the economy. This is a budget that will create jobs for the youth of this country. Because this is a budget that will stabilize the economy and provide the enabling environment for the private sector to thrive and create jobs for the youth of this country. Mr. Speaker, that we are ready to debate their records and our records, and we are ready to demonstrate that the proposals contained in the statement of the Minister of Finance will indeed reset Ghana. Ghana is being reset. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
This is the first time the majority is entering this in full. So we can do some 2 more hours of comment before we move the motion for adjournment. So, Mr. Speaker, this is the first time we are having a full house. So, Mr. Speaker, let's give them the opportunity to comment, especially those who are not regular in this chamber. So, once we are done, we can then move the motion to adjourn the House. Mr. Speaker, that is my humble prayer. I don't know whether they would agree, but if they are in a hurry to go back home, Mr. Speaker, I would therefore move that this House be adjourned to enable them go back home.
Yes, Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, what the Minority Leader says is a reflection of the constitution of this side. It's testimony to the fact that when they are needed, they will be here. are needed, they will be here.
Honorable members, honorable members.
Mr. Speaker.
Honorable members, honorable members. Honorable members, please. Honorable members. Honorable members, those in favor of the motion for adjournment, say aye. Those against the motion for adjournment, say no. Majority leader, yes.
Mr. Speaker, there is rebellion on this side of the House because their leader moved the motion and they are rebelling against their leader. Leader, put your house in order.
Honorable Majority
Watch
Leader.
your back.
Please. That is democracy. They are entitled to disagree, even with their leader. But yes, Minority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I have a very peaceful caucus. Mr. Speaker, I move.
The key policy intervention to support economic transformation and job creation agenda include the following. So, Speaker, the 24-hour economy aimed at stimulating economic growth by creating an enabling environment for businesses and institutions to operate 24/7 in 3 shifts of 8 hours each to boost production, promote productivity, and generate well-paying jobs. We will be presenting the policy to Parliament in due course for consideration. Accordingly, Mr. Speaker, the Labour Act, the GIPC Act, and other enabling legislations will be reviewed to support the 24-hour economy policy. Right Honourable Speaker, we will roll out the implementation of the $10 billion Big Push policy for strategic infrastructure development to open up the country and drive sustainable economic growth. Right Honourable Speaker, the Ghana Gold Board will be established in the course of the year and as soon as possible. So, Speaker, we will stabilize the Ghana cedi and provide stability to the macroeconomy. We will implement an economic transformational agenda underpinned by structural reforms anchored on promoting modernized agriculture, agribusiness, and value addition for import substitution, export, and job creation. Mr. Speaker, we will complement monetary policy with fiscal and real sector policies to reduce inflation. Food inflation will be reduced through the implementation of the Agriculture for Economic Transformation agenda anchored on our 24-hour economy. Right Honourable Speaker, we will undertake key structural reforms to support inclusive economic growth, fiscal and debt sustainability, sound public financial management, efficient public service delivery, and good governance. The Speaker will restructure the Bank of Ghana to strengthen its independence and operationalize its efficiency mandate. Mr. Speaker, we will ensure that social protection is adequately catered for in the course of the year. We will use government procurement to drive Made in Ghana agenda to promote production and consumption of Made in Ghana goods. Right, Honorable Speaker, to demonstrate this agenda, as I said, I came to this House with a presentation of a bag proudly made in Ghana by Horseman. Mr. Speaker, this should be encouraged. Right, Honorable Speaker, beginning this year, we will formalize the export of Ghanaian labor to other countries. We will ensure a structured and beneficial system for Ghanaian workers seeking employment abroad and create safer legal pathway for them to work in foreign countries whilst protecting their rights and welfare. Mr. Speaker, this will also reduce illegal migration, prevent worker exploitation, and maximize the economic benefits of remittance and boost foreign exchange earners. Mr. Speaker, I now take you to how these resources will be allocated in the year 2025. Mr. Speaker, we will provide a cedi equivalent of $279 million as a revolving fund for the Ghana Gold Board to be able to purchase and export at least 3 tons of gold per week from small-scale miners. Mr. Speaker, we have allocated 13.85 billion Ghana cedis for Big Push project. Mr. Speaker, we have allocated 13.85 billion Ghana cedis for the Big Push program. Mr. Speaker, an amount of 499.8 million Ghana cedis has been allocated for the to commence the distribution of free sanitary pads to female students in primary and secondary schools. Mr. Speaker, we have allocated again an amount of 242.5 million Ghana cedis to support the victim of Akosombo Dam spillage. Right, an amount of 200 million Ghana cedis to support the victim of tidal wave disaster that recently displaced residents in certain parts of Kesi South constituency. Mr. Speaker, the overarching concern about free secondary education has been its quality and the absence of dedicated sources of financing. His Excellency President John Dramani Mahama has resolved it. Mr. Speaker, let me take this again. The overarching concern about free secondary education has been its quality and the absence of a dedicated sources of funding. His Excellency President John Dramani Mahama has resolved the funding challenges by uncapping the GET fund. Mr. Speaker, this makes available dedicated funding for full financing of free senior secondary school education and free tertiary education for persons with disability. Mr. Speaker, therefore, Capping and Realignment Act will be amended to uncap the Ghana Education Trust Fund. Mr. Speaker, this year, the budget for free senior secondary billion Ghana cedis for about 2.8 million learners. Mr. Speaker, we have also provided for 4 sets of primary textbooks for about 800,000 learners. Mr. Speaker, we have also provided for 9 sets of SHS textbooks for about 540,000 learners. Right, Honorable Speaker, under the school feeding program, budgetary provision has been increased from the 1.3 billion Ghana cedis last year to 1.78 billion Ghana cedis. Mr. Speaker, representing a 33% increase. The allocation for 2025 reflects an increase in feeding costs per meal, per child, from the 1 cedi 50 pesos to 2 cedis, representing 33.3%. Mr. Speaker, the government has also allocated 145.5 million Ghana cedis to the capitation grant, up from 84 million Ghana cedis in 2024. This is an increase of 73.4% over the previous year. Mr. Speaker, we have also allocated 203 million Ghana cedis for the payment of teacher training allowances and another 480 million Ghana cedis to nursing training allowances.